Welcome to the 2022 year-end review for the Pennsylvania Railroad T1 Trust. We always look forward to bringing this to all of our supporters, all of our volunteers, and just those following the project to let them know what we're doing, what we've been up to for the last year, and in previous years too. So we'll give you a quick recap so that you have the ability to follow along in more detail and hopefully come out and check out one of our events next year and come say hello. So earlier this year, in January, February, we received our throat sheet materials from FMW Solutions. They worked on that out of their Chattanooga, Tennessee facility and Nashville facility and delivered those to us so that our boiler shop can continue on. The throat sheet is the piece of the boiler that attaches the front of the firebox up underneath to the cylindrical sections of the boiler itself. So very difficult transition piece to create. They did a fantastic job with that, and we took delivery of that, sent it to our shop, boiler shop, Continental Fabricators in St. Louis, Missouri, who then took that and welded onto our current boiler and trying to get wrapped up here so we can get the exterior of the boiler complete very soon. So more on that here in a minute. The big thing then, we haven't had an open house since early 2020. So 2 weeks before COVID hit, we had our open house, and we haven't had one since. We've had a lot of people request that, and we've been wanting to do it, just haven't been able to make it happen until this year. So we worked with the Pennsylvania Railroad Technical and Historical Society, who was holding their annual convention in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in middle of May. We made arrangements with them to ship our boiler nearly 1,000 miles from St. Louis by truck, special rig, which you're seeing on the screen at this moment, and bringing it all the way to Harrisburg. But first, we made a stop in Ohio, where we had our cab stored and that we built several years ago. We mounted the cab onto the locomotive along with the nose, also known as the prow, the locomotive, giving it a streamlined look. We hooked that on and then shipped it the rest of the way to Harrisburg, and then spent the weekend in Harrisburg, and hundreds, not thousands, came out, spent the weekend with us, looked at it, listened to more than several talks that we gave on the weekend, explaining what we've been working on and what they're seeing and what their donations have done. So it was a big day for a lot of people, and we met a lot of great people, a lot of our supporters that we've talked to through email or social media. We've got to put a face with them. That was great. So we hope to do more events like this in the future, and we're planning something along the same lines in May of this year of 2023 coming up as well. So stay tuned. We'll probably make those announcements sometime March, April timeframe. Give everybody plenty of time to make arrangements for that. So watch the social media for that. That's the best way to do that. Our webpage and or our Facebook page tend to be the best places for most accurate, most up-to-date information. So after we shipped the boiler there, we have sent it all the way back to St. Louis so that final preparations could be done, waiting on what's called the Hicks sheet. So the Hicks sheet, it was a very difficult piece to manufacture. It's the piece that transitions the top of the boiler, the firebox, to the cylindrical part of the boiler. So this piece is 1 inch thick, has multiple complex curves in it, which makes it very difficult to manufacture. You can't just heat up the 1 inch plate of steel and hammer around a die like many of you have seen before. We've done other facets of the locomotive construction. It's just too big, too thick, too complicated piece. So we spent about $40,000 manufacturing dies, specialized dies, male and female dies that will make this. So that took quite a bit of time this year to with the supply chain issues of getting those manufactured. But they are manufactured, and then they're actually out in a shop in Kansas where they will be pressed at a Boeing facility sometime here very shortly. The plates, 1 inch thick plates, will be heated up to 1800 to 2000 degrees and then pressed in the dies and to correct the form. So we're looking forward to that here very shortly, and we'll be there to document that when it happens and share all that with everyone watching this video and watching the project as it goes. So um, one of the other exciting things we did in June is we had the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad out of Cumberland, Maryland, invite us to down, and we brought the whistle, the voice of the T1, and put that on their 2662 locomotive, number 1309, for the weekend. We had many supporters come out, sold trains out all weekend long in support of the T1 Trust. We're very thankful for everyone that did come out, said hello, stopped by. We appreciate that immensely. So again, it's about getting out there and letting people know what we're doing, how we're doing it, and show them the results, fruits of our labor. So we also, around that same time, took on the frame engineering. This has been the single biggest thing that most people ask us about. So now the boiler is probably better than halfway complete on that. We still have the internals doing it. The frame is the next biggest. It is the biggest, most complex component that we have to manufacture on the T1 itself. So the beauty of that is we hired FMW Solutions, and their engineering team has taken the challenge and broken down every piece of it. So we are fortunate that Jack Tool out of New Jersey used their engineering team to recreate the original frame in CAD. Then we were able to take that model and then break it down into sections where we could actually manufacture the frame using modern techniques, welding, cutting, forming, with laser controls and CNC equipment. So it gives us an advantage that they did not have in the 1940s that we currently have. And then to stress relief, the entire thing, once completed, will be a huge improvement over the original. So we are manufacturing it to look like the original. It'll weigh within 2% plus or minus of the original frame. Be just as strong, but not too strong, because rigidity is a problem. We need some flexibility in the frame as it's built. We don't want it to be too rigid or it will break. So our engineers at FMW have done a spectacular job of doing all that engineering and making sure that it's going to be perfect for us. So we're excited about, we're calling 2023 the year of the frame. So that's a big focal point of the upcoming year, to get the engineering wrapped up, get everything approved, and get our contractors working on that as soon as possible. So be watching that. We'll be documenting that every step of the way through that whole process and letting you know. We even hope they even have it on display at some point, so they can come out and look at progress on the frame with integrated cylinders throughout. So pretty exciting time on that. So that started around July timeframe. That continues on. We're at the tail end of that process currently, and hope to have something for everybody the first part of 2023. We did take possession of 2 more main driving wheels from our foundry, Beaver Valley Alloy out of Monaca, Pennsylvania. We took those sometime September timeframe, brought them back with the other ones, and then we have several more. The final drivers are on order and hope to have them in the near future as they process that through their foundry. So pretty complicated. The drivers are 72 inches diameter. Once the tires come on, they'll be 80 inches when complete. They are completely hollow on the inside, so the patterns are very difficult to handle and to make on that. So that took us quite a bit of time. We did that earlier this year as well, modifying the patterns for the other drivers that we had to create. And so now we're excited about that. By summertime, we hope to have all 8 drivers in our possession, and we can start on the machining process of that. So we wanted to get all 8 of them cast, and then we'll take them to the machine shop and have all 8 of them machined at the same time. And then we can order tires and get tires put on them. So they're one step closer to having axles and crank pins installed in. So we're moving that process along. The frame's moving along, the boiler's moving along. The tender is still safe, sitting up near Buffalo, New York. We don't have any near-term plans on the tender itself, but we will. It's safe where it's at. It's not going anywhere. It's not deteriorating any further. So it's in pretty good shape. So we're just going to leave that alone, focus on the frame and the other massive components, because once those get done, then it's a bunch of the small stuff that will turn focus. So, including the tender. So once we've identified the location where the whole engine will be assembled, we're down to 2 different locations for that currently that we're going through the final vetting process of that. And once we know that, then we'll end up moving the tender to that location to get everything, all the major components all in one location. So we look forward to that. We're not in any major hurry to make that announcement, but we will have to make that pretty soon as the frame is construction will begin. We've also taken the opportunity to start sourcing a lot of missing parts. Well, the locomotive was never around, so it's been gone since 1956. So there was pretty much everything is missing. So we through auction sites and then many of our friends out there knowing what we're looking for, we've been able to locate many of the gauges that go in the cab. We even found a speedometer that would have been original to the locomotive, nearly identical. The speedometer will have modern guts in it so that we can tie it into PTS train control systems, computer systems that the Class 1 railroads will require us to have on the locomotive to operate on the main line. So it's very important. We want to keep the outside aesthetic of the speedometer, but yet we want to have the modern interior components of it so that we can operate on the main line and railroads won't have any issues with that. So we make modern adjustments like that, but try to hide them so that they look right out of the 1940s when it came down to it. So that's an important piece of it for us, using the modern techniques, but also using modern components wherever we can, whether it's in our radio, electrical systems, whatever the case may be there. So we were happy with that. So moving forward, like I said, we have a lot going on, trying to wrap up the exterior of the boiler. Be doing many interior boiler components. You probably see some stay bolts start to go in yet this year, 2023 that is, coming up on it. The frame construction going on. So this is again where we always need your help. So this thing gets built at the speed of which donations come in. That hasn't changed. We're moving along. We are fully transparent, so anybody can see exactly where their dollars are being spent. 100% volunteer. There's no paid staff. So every dollar donated goes right towards the locomotive and the steel. So that's very important for us, very important for the donors, and everybody else is helping us out. So we want to thank you if you made donations in the past. Ask you to potentially make another donation in the future or become a reoccurring donation. The small $25, $50 a month donations we get that are reoccurring every month help us budget upcoming machine shop visits, what we can do there. We can really start to really narrow down what we're able to do each year. So thank you for all the ones that have done the reoccurring, and those that have not, you may want to consider that. That helps us speed things along here and get this thing done sooner the better for us. Any questions along this, feel free to go to our social media, our Facebook or our website, email us or post questions on there where we monitor those and are more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And watch for an announcement sometime early spring for another open house. So we look forward to meeting everyone and having a show. Thank you.